Every single species on this planet has spent millions of years adapting to Earth's specific environments. Fish developed gills to breathe underwater, while birds evolved hollow bones to conquer the skies. Polar bears grew incredibly thick fur to survive the freezing temperatures of the harsh Arctic. And then there is us, humanity, a species that literally burns in our own sunlight. Our spines are constantly falling apart under the weight of our own planetary gravity. We give birth in a process so violent it kills us more than any other mammal. We are the only species that looked around at the world and thought something was fundamentally off. What if the reason we simply do not fit on Earth is because we are not from here? Lizards can sit comfortably in direct, blistering sunlight for hours without any negative effects whatsoever. Dogs, cats, horses, and elephants spend their entire lives under the same sun and handle it fine. Their fur, their scales, and their pigmentation are all perfectly calibrated for our local star. Ours isn't, forcing us to invent a chemical paste and rub it on ourselves just to go outside. Think about that for a second. We invented sunscreen because our own sun is trying to kill us. Now look at your back, as 80% of humans will experience chronic back pain. When 4 out of 5 members of a species share a structural problem, you must look at the blueprint. Our spines are essentially a horizontal bridge that evolution desperately tried to stand upright. The discs between our vertebrae compress under gravity in ways they were never meant to handle. Other bipedal animals like kangaroos and ostriches do not have this structural issue at all. Their bodies were built from the ground up for standing, whereas ours were retrofitted badly. Then there is childbirth, which is the most dangerous birth process of any mammal on the planet. Human babies have heads so incredibly large that they barely fit through the mother's birth canal. Before modern medicine, giving birth was a leading cause of death for women throughout human history. No other species routinely dies trying to deliver perfectly healthy offspring into the world. A horse gives birth in about 30 minutes, and the foal stands up and walks within the hour. Meanwhile, a human infant cannot even hold up its own head for several months after birth. We show up completely useless and dependent on others for years, incredibly helpless. And then there are allergies, where your immune system regularly goes to war against harmless things. Pollen, peanuts, dust, cat hair, and shellfish trigger severe reactions in humans. About 30% of the global population has allergies, attacking the very air they breathe. Either evolution made a serious mistake, or your body is calibrated for somewhere else entirely. But the strangest part isn't physical. It is the intense psychological burden in your head. No other animal on Earth knows it is going to die or experiences this existential terror. Dogs don't lie awake wondering what happens after death, and dolphins don't have existential crises. Elephants do not build complex religions to cope with the absolute terror of their own mortality. But we do, walking around with the full awareness that one day we will simply stop existing. Instead of just dealing with it, we have spent our entire history trying to solve the problem of death. We build massive temples, write deep philosophies, and create civilizations around this ultimate question. Why would evolution do this to us, and what survival advantage does existential dread provide? For most of human history, this dark awareness has driven people to despair, madness, and violent war. It feels like a feature you would find in a species that is completely out of place on its own world. Conscious enough to sense something is profoundly wrong, but completely unable to figure out what it is. Every other species on this planet exists in some kind of natural balance with its ecosystem. Predators keep prey in check, prey keeps plant life in check, and decomposers recycle the nutrients. It is a perfect closed loop where absolutely everybody plays their designated part, except for us. We clear-cut ancient forests, poison vital rivers, and pump the atmosphere full of dangerous greenhouse gases. We have driven thousands of species to extinction, and we are not even close to slowing down. We are not actively participating in Earth's ecosystem. We are systematically taking it apart. And if you really think about it, that is exactly what you would expect from an invasive species. A biological entity dropped onto a planet it wasn't built for, completely ignorant of the natural rules. So, if we really don't belong here on Earth, where exactly did we come from in the vast universe? In 1973, Nobel Prize winner Francis Crick published a paper that should have shaken the scientific world. He was the brilliant man who decoded DNA, figuring out how life's instructions actually work. In a groundbreaking paper, he proposed something wild called directed panspermia. He suggested life on Earth didn't start here, but was deliberately seeded by an intelligent alien civilization. The man who decoded human DNA looked at the story of life on Earth and said it doesn't add up. Honestly, the scientific evidence backing up his extraordinary claim is extremely hard to dismiss. Complex organic chemistry appeared just 700 million years after Earth initially formed. The planet was still a molten hellscape getting hammered by asteroids, yet life popped up instantly. Biologists have always found that rapid evolutionary timing incredibly suspicious and hard to explain. Then there is the Murchison meteorite, a space rock that crashed into Australia full of amino acids. Some of these amino acids are the exact same ones found in every living thing on Earth. This proves that complex organic chemistry can literally just ride through deep space on a rock. And here is the truly fascinating part. We know life can actually survive in outer space. Tardigrades have been exposed to the freezing vacuum of space and cosmic radiation, and survived perfectly. In 2019, an Israeli spacecraft carrying these microscopic creatures tragically crashed on the lunar surface. Scientists believe some of them might still be viable up there, just sitting and waiting. Life absolutely does not just exist on Earth. It can clearly hitch a ride between worlds. In 2013, ecologist Dr. Ellis Silver published a controversial book called Humans Are Not From Earth. He pulled together all the physiological evidence showing we are incredibly poorly adapted to this planet. The sunburn, the back pain, the allergies, and even our circadian rhythm being slightly off. He fiercely argued these weren't just quirks of evolution, but clear signs we came from elsewhere. But mainstream biology actually has a pretty good answer for almost all of these physical problems. It is a concept called evolutionary mismatch, and it might be more interesting than alien theories. We only started walking completely upright on our hind legs about 6 million years ago. Evolution moves extremely slow, so our spines haven't had enough generations to figure out standing. We are basically walking around the planet in an evolutionary prototype that never got updated. We lost our protective body hair because our ancestors needed to cool down while hunting prey. We simply traded our fur coat for the unique ability to outrun every other land animal. Our brains got massive much faster than our female birth canals could biologically keep up with. Our brains are hardwired for short-term survival on the savannah, not managing global planetary ecosystems. We are not alien invaders. We are just an animal that got way too powerful too fast. However, there is still one massive mystery that evolutionary biology absolutely cannot account for yet. The sheer speed of human advancement is unlike anything in the 4 billion-year history of life. Dolphins are incredibly smart and have complex social lives, but never built a single tool. Chimpanzees figured out how to use sticks millions of years ago, but never upgraded their technology. Meanwhile, humans went from banging sharpened rocks together to launching nuclear weapons extremely fast. We went from ancient cave paintings to artificial intelligence in what amounts to a geological blink. 200 years ago, we didn't have railroads, and 75 years ago, space travel didn't exist. Nothing in the entire history of life on this planet has ever accelerated like humanity has. Some point to language, cooking, or a mutation in the FOXP2 gene that unlocked complex speech. Modern evolutionary biology can explain small pieces of it, but absolutely not the whole thing. We are almost certainly a natural product of this planet, shaped by familiar evolutionary forces. But when real genetic scientists look at the biological evidence and say something doesn't add up, that is just science being honest. When the answers to our existence don't come out clean. If we are from here, we are the strangest thing this planet has ever managed to produce. And if we are not, we have been blindly trying to find our way home for millennia.